In the year of our Lord, 2020, Tumblr user Gumjabar made a very important post. Every time a new Star Wars movie or show is announced, all the fans are like, OMG, Glup Shitto is back! I would consider this post one of the most important additions to the general fandom lexicon in recent history. It captures something true and instantly relatable, and while the original post is about Star Wars, it's broadly applicable to any large franchise. Star Trek, Marvel and DC, Warhammer, whatever. It's the experience of being on the outside of a fandom, looking into the black hole that is a franchise's extended universe, and not knowing what the hell they're talking about or why they're so excited about a character that from your perspective sounds incredibly stupid. I think this is a broadly relatable idea, which is why the term has become ingrained in online vocabulary. I, for example, often feel this about anime, as someone who doesn't watch much anime, but hears people very excited to talk about dudes called Piccolo and Broly and various other characters named after vegetables. With no context, it can seem strange that people would be so invested in something that seems absurd, so I get it. I also hate this term and everything it stands for. Hey, I'm a Star Wars fan, not one of these I watched the original trilogy when I was a kid in the 70s and nothing else since. No, I've read Star Wars novels, I've watched the TV shows and the cartoons, I've played most of the video games. As I sit here right now, I'm absolutely surrounded by LEGO Star Wars ships. I'm a Star Wars fan. If you name a Glup Shitto right now, there's like a 60% chance that I know who you're talking about, and that's a lot higher than the average person. Of course, like most online terms, Glup Shitto has a very broad range of characters it can apply to depending on the person's familiarity with Star Wars. For me, you have to get pretty obscure before a character qualifies as a Glup Shitto, like my boy Ben Quadinaros. On the other hand, I've seen lots of people unironically say that Zeb is a Glup Shitto, even though to me, Zeb is a main character of a widely beloved and successful 4-season cartoon series. But his name isn't Skywalker, I guess, a much less silly name. But this is where I turn on the term. Unless the term is being used by a Star Wars fan, this term is meant disparagingly. Look at you, you actually care about seeing a big purple alien in a movie? What a loser. It's this irony-poisoned impulse to see any genuine expression of enthusiasm or joy as cringe. Yeah, some Star Wars characters have silly-sounding names. That doesn't make it cringe to like them or want to see them in a new project. I love Zeb. Everyone who's watched Rebels loves Zeb. He's a great character. He's cool, he's funny, he's probably gay. I'm excited to see him again. Being invested in something is not a crime worthy of scorn. It's not embarrassing to be passionate about something. I'm absolutely sick of this performative dispassion that the internet requires. This was the original point of Adam Ellis's Let People Enjoy Things comic before that one was absolutely posted into the ground as well. These panels started getting posted in response to anything, but the widely forgotten first panel makes it clear what he was actually talking about. He was talking about that impulse to mock people for enjoying anything at all. The original comic is about football because people will truly do this about anything. Watching your sports ball again, see the little men running around fondling their balls. Yuck, yuck. Fuck off, honestly. I don't know anything about football. I don't particularly want to know or care to know anything about football. But that does not mean that people who want to watch the Saturday night game with their team blazers on are embarrassing losers. It's not about criticism. I criticise Star Wars all the time. Most Star Wars fans do. Because passion means that the great things soar higher and the bad things delve lower, and that's part of the joy of fandom. The joint celebration and the joint commiseration over a thing you all love. Glup Shitto is the performative dismissal of even having that love at all, of even caring if a Star Wars project is good or bad. Well, you don't get a medal for not caring about Star Wars, and you don't get to pretend that you're better than people who are. That just makes you a prick. The joy of Star Wars is in its incredible versatility, the fact that this guy and this guy exist in the same universe and could conceivably meet. It's why, even since I was a kid, my favourite parts of Star Wars have always been outside of the movies. I truly don't care that much about Luke Skywalker and Han Solo. I live in the world of the Glup Shittos. I love that every patron in Mos Eisley Cantina has a name and an elaborate backstory, and I'm tired of pretending that I don't. I love that every single one of the pod racers in the Phantom Menace has a weirdly elaborate backstory as well. Please let me tell you about Ben Quadranaros, who, by the way, is this guy whose pod racer breaks down before the race even starts. Ben Quadranaros is a Toong from the planet Tung in the Tung system, and he's essentially a rich idiot who bought his way into a professional racing career. He rented an expensive pod racer that he didn't know how to drive or maintain, and at this point he's only ever participated in amateur leagues where it's all padded and safe and nobody explodes. In Legends, at least, he only entered this race because the night before he got drunk with some of his rich friends and one of them bet him 5 million credits that he didn't have the balls to enter the race. So while our boy Ben was annoyed that his pod racer wasn't working, it probably saved his life because he was entering this death race with less experience than a literal child. But despite it all, he kept at it, to the point where years later he's on the posters being advertised as the rival of Sebulba. Is your life really worse for knowing all of that? I don't think it is. I think you, like me, are now ingratiated to Ben Quadranaros. I know for the past 20 years nerd culture has dominated the mainstream, but Star Wars is, and always has been, peak nerd shit. George Lucas is a gigantic nerd who had a bunch of crazy and weird ideas that a bunch of other people had to wrangle into a watchable movie. It's about aliens and space wizards and sassy robots. It's fun, and it's silly, and it's joyful. And sometimes it's about the horrors of fascism, and sometimes it's about romance, and sometimes it's about dealing with emotional trauma, and sometimes it's about a goofy little guy. And it's all Star Wars, and it's all part of this ever-expanding tapestry of weird and wonderful things. People are so bloody cynical about cinematic universes these days, but the Star Wars universe is this miraculous project developed by hundreds of different artists, all bringing their different visions and ideas and stories that all still connect into this greater universe. You can view it as a corporate cash grab mining nostalgia or whatever, but I just can't see it that way. I see passionate people exploring the deepest, nerdiest subject matter ever and loving every part of it. Does that mean I'm super excited for The Mandalorian and Grogu? No, it looks kinda bad. But I love that this year alone we're getting a movie inspired by old adventure serials, a character study about a guy with robot legs, a racing game, a show about space wizards and space gods, and a young adult romance novel. What a whimsical combination of things to all exist under the same umbrella. Life's too short to pretend that I don't care about Star Wars, to perform this emotional detachment that will make me less cringe in the eyes of the most annoying people on the planet. Who actually wants a Darth Maul show? I do. Sam Witwer has been playing Maul for 15 years now. He's truly made this character his own, and over those years, Maul has been part of some of the best storylines and moments in Star Wars. This show is filling in a blank spot in his story, and I'm excited for it. Yes, his name is Maul, and he's a big evil red dude covered in spikes, and he had a brother called Savage Opress. So what? I know you don't know all of this because you never watched the Clone Wars or Rebels, but that's your loss. Anyone who says that Star Wars is dying or is creatively bankrupt is not looking very hard. Sure, The Rise of Skywalker was bad, and some of the live-action shows have been real duds. But The Bad Batch was excellent. Visions is a fascinating project. The Tales of series has some gorgeous animation, and all of the video games have been extremely high quality. Yes, even Outlaws, I will continue to die on this hill. Star Wars has one of the most annoying hatedoms in existence. I get that. Trust me, I get that, but I'm done qualifying my excitement with kowtowing and hedging to avoid their wrath, because it doesn't work. So, screw it. Call me a shill all you like, you usually racist, sexist, and queerphobic weirdos. If I have a moral to this video, it's do not be ashamed of the things you enjoy. Don't hide your enthusiasm about them. The world's a pretty dark place right now, so find your joy and don't feel the need to downplay it. Be it Star Wars or Dragon Ball or Formula 1 racing or whatever. Own it. Embrace it. And if people mock you for it, that's a reflection on them, not you. Embrace your Glup Shittos. Cherish them. And don't let anyone tell you you're wrong for doing so. Thank you for watching, and a very special thank you to my wonderful patrons for your continued support. If you'd like to see your name up here, or just support the things that I do, then please consider signing up. It would mean a lot to me. As well as a like, comment, share, subscribe, and ring the bell. I'm trying a bit of a different format this time, meaning I just vomited a bunch of words onto the page and then vomited them into a camera. So let me know how that worked out for you. If you're in the mood for more Star Wars, then I recently did a video about one of my favourite Star Wars arcs, the Umbara arc, which you can find up here. Or for something different, I'm currently making my way through all of the Mass Effect games, starting with the first one, which you can find down here.